Cut it or keep it? The question that haunts every musical theater writer at least once in their career. More than likely, it will become a recurring question throughout your career, or even just the journey of one singular musical theater project. Songs take a lot of time, energy, and effort to create, and we put our blood, sweat, and tears into the entire process. So, when it comes time to consider cutting a song out of a musical entirely, well, it can be an utterly gut-wrenching decision. How do you know when to cut a song and when to keep it? Here are 10 questions to ask yourself before making this big and critical decision. Question number 1. What do I love about this song? And I do mean this in all aspects. Do you just love its existence? Do you love its melody? Do you love the accompaniment? Do you love the chord progression you chose? Do you love the lyric itself? Or are there just moments of gold in there? Do you love the character who sings this? What about the song do you love? Why are we starting with love if we are going to consider cutting it? Well, just like my feedback process that we always follow, we want to start with that positivity, the affirmation, because we want to know what's good about it before we decide to throw the whole thing out. It may make a difference to the ultimate decision. Another piece of this is wondering, am I clinging to this? And if I am clinging to it, why might I be clinging to it? What's so good about it that makes me want to cling? I've never felt more like a stage 4 clinger than to my own songs in a musical. Question number 2. What is this song doing for the story and or the character? Now I know, every single song that we write for musical theater, every single song, is going to be doing something for the plot and or the characters. At least when we write it. But things may have changed along the way, and it's good to take a step back and to evaluate what actually is this song doing currently in this version of the show for the plot and or the characters. Now, this is not the question in reverse. This is about what it is doing. Again, let's start with that positive. You want to know all the positives in the first place. Question number 3. What is this song doing for the audience in the show's flow? The flow of a show. The show flow. This is so important to the entirety of your musical's life. I can't tell you how many times I've seen a new show in some sort of reading format and I watch people just dismiss it entirely because they got bored at some point. That's not how we should be developing musicals, but that's a soapbox for another day. Pacing is extremely important, and we've talked about this idea before of the emotional arc on this channel. We always want to be keeping an eye on the flow of the show, the pacing, and how the emotional arc flows so that the audience feels engaged always, but we're also giving them moments to pause and rest. So in terms of the pacing and emotional arc, what is this song doing for the show? Question number 4. What, if anything, is this song doing for the overall message or theme of the show? Are you surprised I went here? I did create the North Star question sets after all, and this is a big part of it for good reason. You can download them at the link below. If this song isn't actually doing anything for the message or for the theme, that doesn't necessarily mean it's cut worthy. That's why it's 1 question of 10, but it is good to know. Are we hitting on a major theme? Because maybe we do want to keep it for that reason, even if there are other possible reasons to cut it. And sometimes when we have a message that we want the audience to walk away with at the end of the show, there's kind of like sub-messages below that. So does this song in some way encapsulate that main message or any of the sub-messages? I'm making this video because someone who is in our community had asked on the YouTube channel in a comment if I would make a video about this. So hi, here I am doing that. I do read your comments and I listen. So if you have videos you'd like me to make or topics you want me to cover, please let me know in the comments on YouTube or follow me on Instagram at MTWriterGuy or on TikTok at Michael Ratty. And also do grab those North Star question sets. They're really, really handy, I promise. Now, my friends, it's time for the other side of the coin. Question number 5. What do I not like or like less about this song? All right, we went through the positive stuff, and it's good to know the positives first, because it's so easy to go negative, isn't it? Our brains are wired for it, and so we're like, haha, you want me to tear apart my own work? I can do that. Now, I'm not saying that you should tear apart your work. Be kind to yourself. Please grant some grace. But we do need to know, what do I not like about this song? Or at least, what do I like less about this song than perhaps all the other songs surrounding it, or all the other songs in the show? Now again, you don't have to tear your work apart, but you do need to make note. Let's try to keep this as civil as possible and just very to the letter. Question number 6. Is this song duplicating work that's being done elsewhere? Oh, my friends, I can't tell you how often I have held on to a song because I really like the song for so many of the positive reasons, only to have someone point out to me, well, isn't it just doing the same work as that song over there? And I think that song's doing it better. You know, it can be so disheartening to know that, but it can be true. Sometimes we accidentally duplicate our work, especially in a revision process. When things have to move around, or the plot or the journey changes a little bit, we may end up with two song moments that are doing the exact same thing. If you do end up with that moment, you just need to look at which song is doing it better. And maybe this song is doing it better, in which case this wouldn't be the deal breaker. Question number 7. Does this song interrupt the flow of the show in any way? Since we talked about the show flow in a positive way, we have to talk about it in a negative way too. Does this somehow stop the plot or stop the show entirely? And if so, did you mean to do that? I've also had songs I've written in a show as a character is going along their journey and the tension's rising, and I had a song in there that is a part of that journey, but I looked at it and realized, oh, yeah, it's not raising the tension to the same degree or at the same pacing as everything else around it. Gotta look at that. That's worth consideration. Okay, our last 3 questions are all gonna get grouped together because they are all highly connected. Questions number 8 through 10. Would anything be missing if I were to cut this song? How much? And would it be better served delivered another way? And is the flow and clarity actually better? Now, this is a set of questions that's going to make you pause and potentially even do a little experimentation before you can truly make your decision based on the answers to all the questions combined, whether to cut this song or to keep it. Having that moment where you look at a song and go, okay, could this be a scene? If so, what would that scene look like? Yeah, it can be okay to imagine it, but I think it's always best to actually try writing it out. If you were to take a song and turn it into a scene, what would that scene actually look like? How would it flow? Because only then can you know if the flow of the scene would be better than the flow with the song in it. And also, you have to take a look at where the work is being done better. I will also say it's a rough question to ask yourself, would anything be missing if I were to cut this song? Because ultimately, if you're sitting here pondering this and weighing your options, you will be missing the song if it leaves. So we kind of have to take ourselves out of the equation for this and think about, would the show be missing anything? Or would the audience be missing anything? Or would any character's journeys be missing anything? If the answer is yes, then it is worth looking to see, well, can I deliver that in a different way? Just to give a little example here, with The King's Legacy, after the premiere production, I had a song that the audience loved, but it was actually hurting the journey of the characters and of the piece itself. So I took a look at the song and decided that even though it was a laugh-worthy moment and audiences were like, oh my god, that bit was great, it wasn't ultimately serving the piece. I went through these questions and I decided, you know what? There are a couple bits of this that I can keep, but I'm gonna have to write a new song and cut this one, leaving it on the floor with all of the other songs I've cut. Now, was that a sad moment for me? Ultimately, no. I think I was much happier after making the decision. It felt like a lightness, but going through the process was not necessarily fun. Conversely, I've had a lot of people tell me over the years, this song here, don't cut it, don't cut it, don't cut it. And it wasn't doing proper work, and so I have toyed with the idea of cutting it for years and years and years, and finally I realized why people liked it so much, and that the positives really outweighed the negatives. Therefore, I didn't end up cutting the song, but I did end up rewriting it in a way that felt better to the journey of the show and the characters and made me feel a lot better about the song's existence. So ultimately, she was the keeper. In deciding whether or not to cut a song is a crucial decision, yes, but it's really just one part of the entire process that is revising. So if you want to learn more about that entire process and what else needs to be considered, then you should watch this video next. Otherwise, thank you all for being here with me today, and I'll see you again soon. Cheers!